Ciliated epithelial cells. Ciliated epithelial cells, grade 7, are the cells that line the surface of structures. The cells that line the surface of structures are called epithelial cells. I have something that we call cilia. Cilia, grade 7, are microscopic hair, like extensions of the cytoplasm. Microscopic hair, we can't see it just with our eye, we see it just under the microscope. Microscopic hair, like extensions of the cytoplasm. You feel as if it is a part of the cytoplasm, as if it is just extensions of the cytoplasm. These ciliated epithelial cells, grade 7, we find it in the line of the throat. We find it lying the throat. Okay, I want you to look down in the right. This is the throat. The ciliated epithelial cells lie in the throat. The air which entering the throat, grade 7, contains dust. Contains what dust? This dust becomes trapped in the mucus. It becomes trapped in the mucus of the throat. Becomes trapped in the mucus of the throat lining. Do you see down in the picture? I have the mucus. It trapped the dust. The cilia under the mucus waved to and fro. You know the meaning of wave. Wave to and fro and carry the dust trapped in the mucus away from the lungs. So the cilia doesn't allow the dust that trap in the mucus to enter the lungs. So it protects the lungs from this dust. You got it, a grade 7. So this ciliated epithelial cells, we find it lying the throat. The air entering contains dust. The mucus trapped this dust, and the cilia wave to and fro and carry the dust trapped in the mucus away from the lungs. Root hair cells. Root hair cells, grade 7, are plant cells that grow a short distance behind the root tip. Do you see down in the picture? This is the root tip. Behind the root tip, I find the root hair cells. You know the hair of the root. The roots, they are about hairs, right? The cells have long, thin extensions that allow them to grow easily between the soil particles. They have what? Long and thin extensions. The shape of the root, grade 7, help it to grow easily between the soil particles. It doesn't find it difficult to grow between the soil particles. Why? Because its shape is long and thin. Okay? The shape of these extensions gives the root hair cells a large surface area through which water can be taken up from the soil. Would you imagine, a grade 7, if this root was about just one hair? Just one hair. So the surface from where the water can be taken up from the soil will be just one, because it was just one hair. But here I have a lot of root hairs, right? So each root hair can take up water from the soil. So this large surface area help the plant to take a lot of water from the soil. And that's it about the root hair cells. Palisade cells. Palisade cells, grade 7, have a shape that allows them to pack closely together in the upper part of a leaf. So I found it in the upper part of the leaf, and their shape helps them to pack closely together. They are in the upper part of a leaf near the light. They are what? Near the light. They have large numbers of chloroplasts. They have large numbers of chloroplasts in them. Why? In order to trap as much light energy as possible, because as we know the chloroplast trap the light of the sun. Okay, so this palisade cell, we find it have a shape that allows them to pack closely together in the upper part of a leaf near the light, and they have large numbers of chloroplasts in them to trap as much light energy as possible. Now in grade 7 we have different examples of cell that adapt why in order to make a particular task. Okay, they change in their shape, they are not the same shape all of them. Why? As I said, in order to do a particular task. We spoke about the red blood cells, white blood cells, about the smooth muscle cells, the nerve cells, the ciliated epithelial cell, the root hair cell, and the palisade cells. Now let's speak about your grade 7 cells, tissues, organs, and organisms. We know that a grade 7 group of cells give me tissue, group of tissues give me organ, group of organs give me organ systems, group of organ systems form for us the organism which our body, or maybe for the animal or any living thing, right? The cells in a group are all the same kind and perform a special task in the life of the organism. This group of cells is called a tissue. They form what? A special task in the life. They give me a tissue. Different tissues join together to make a larger group of cells called an organ. All the special tasks performed by the cells in the different tissues in the organ help the organ to keep the body alive. They help the organ to do what? To keep the body alive. Organs can form groups called organ system. They can form group called organ systems. The organs in a system perform a vital task in the survival of the body related to the 7 life processes. Do you remember the 7 life processes? Yeah. All the organs and organ systems in a living thing form a larger group. They form for us a larger group, the body of the living thing, which is known as a living organism, and this is the human, or as I say, maybe any one of the living thing. Plants as living organisms. The cells which form the outer covering of a plant, the cells that we find it in the outer covering of a plant, are broad and flat. They are broad, or we can say wide and flat, and join together. These cells join together to form a tissue called the epidermis. So in grade 7, when we touch the leaf, the outer covering is the epidermis. Is what? The epidermis. You can see it down in the picture. They form the outer covering of a plant, and they are broad and flat, and they join together. A group of cells give me this tissue, which is called epidermis. In a leaf, they cover a layer of palisade cells. So then we find a layer of palisade cells, and these palisade cells together form a tissue called palisade mesophyll. They form a tissue called what? Palisade mesophyll. The purpose of this tissue, which is palisade mesophyll, is to collect light and make food. You can see down in the picture we have the palisade mesophyll. As I said, it is a tissue. This tissue is formed from what? From palisade cells. Their purpose is to collect light and make food. You can see in the picture also I have something that is called spongy mesophyll. So let's know about this spongy mesophyll. Beneath this tissue, which is the palisade mesophyll, are rounder shaped cells. We find rounder shaped cells with gap between them. I find between them gaps, which form the spongy mesophyll. So under the palisade mesophyll, I find the spongy mesophyll tissue. The task of the spongy mesophyll is to help bring water to the leaf for use in making food. So the spongy mesophyll help the leaf to bring water, or help bringing water to the leaf. Okay, and the palisade cell collects light to make food, and the spongy mesophyll to help bring water to the leaf. The water in grade 7 evaporates from their surfaces or from the surface of the spongy mesophyll. And after the water evaporated, it is replaced by water drawn up in tube-like xylem tissue. You see down in the left, I have this xylem tissue. It forms for me a tube. A group of xylem tissue grade 7 form for me the veins in the leaf, and you know the veins. So these veins, xylem tissues make group together and they give me the veins. And as I said, when the water evaporates from the surface of the spongy mesophyll, it is replaced by water drawn up in tube-like xylem tissue. And this xylem tissue, group of them, form for me veins in the leaf. In the spongy mesophyll, I will find special pairs of cells which is called stomata, special pairs of cells which is called stomata in the lower epidermis of a leaf can bend to make an opening through which water vapor can escape. Okay, so I need this water to escape. That's why I have this stomata. The stomata opening in order to let the water vapor escape from the spongy mesophyll. And when they close, so the water will be inside the leaf. We will continue grade 7 in the other part of this video. Please be with me.